All right, today we're diving into something, well, a little different. We're going to deconstruct a transcript from a viral video about a mama cat. Now, at first glance, it's just a wall of nonsensical noise. But if you look closer, what does it actually tell us about the kind of content we're all watching online? Let's get into it.
So, this is really the core question, isn't it? What happens when you actually write down every single word and sound from one of these videos? You'd probably expect a lot of meows, maybe some purring. But what we actually get is something that reads like a total fever dream, full of broken conversations and stuff that makes zero sense. So, where do we even begin to unpack this? Well, you start right at the beginning. This line right here is one of the very first things you read, and honestly, it sets the stage for everything that follows. It's chaotic, it's repetitive, and it's just plain confusing. This phrase, wow, 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 it basically becomes the background radiation for this entire piece. Our goal here isn't just to point out how wild this all is. We're going to see if we can actually find some kind of order hiding in the chaos. Because, believe it or not, if you sift through all that noise, you can find these tiny, coherent little stories. Our job is to pull them out and see what's going on. And here we go. The first clear storyline that pops out is a pretty classic little drama. A kitten gets hurt, and its mom has to go find help. It's a super simple, universal story, and it gives us our first real handhold in this sea of nonsense. And check this out. When you pull these specific lines from different parts of the transcript, they actually create a perfect little three-act story. First, you have the problem. My little one took a tumble. Then you have the rising action. Someone pays for treatment. And finally, the resolution. The kitten is stable. It's a complete narrative built from just 3 sentences plucked from the madness. But right when you think you've found some solid ground, the script throws this at you. A fresh papaya. Seriously? Where did it come from? Who's it for? It has absolutely nothing to do with the injured kitten. And this just perfectly shows what this transcript is all about. Moments of clarity that are immediately smashed by something completely and totally absurd. Okay, on to our second little micro story. This one feels like a classroom drama. It's all about being late and feeling anxious about what other people think. And again, it's a really simple, relatable conflict that's actually pretty easy to follow. So here you can see the two sides of the conflict laid out for us. On one side, you've got the teacher, the authority figure, who's all about the rules. This is your final warning. But on the other side, you've got the kitten's inner thoughts, that pure social anxiety. What if they don't like me? It's a surprisingly real little emotional moment. And just like we saw with the papaya, we get another completely random interruption. Out of nowhere, in the middle of this school scene, a nursery rhyme starts. Is it part of the lesson? Is it just a stray thought? The transcript gives us absolutely no clues, and once again, any story we thought we were following just gets completely derailed. So if the actual story keeps its breaking apart, maybe we're looking in the wrong place. Maybe the key isn't in the dialogue at all, but in the sounds. Let's switch gears and try to analyze the sounds that we hear over and over again, and let's treat them like they're their own language.
Okay, if we put on our serious analyst hats for a minute, we can almost perform a real linguistic breakdown here. Wow, wow, wow seems to be the default background noise, just filler. Heat meow, though. That one always shows up when something bad is happening. And meow, meow, meow seems to be a pretty clear call for attention. So the point is, there is a system here, even if it's a really basic one.
And yet, everything comes back to this. The sheer volume of wow, wow, wow is just overwhelming. It's the soundtrack, it's the wallpaper, it's the weird, nonsensical glue that holds this whole world together. It fills every gap, connecting every scene, even when nothing makes sense. So let's step back and put all these pieces together. We've got broken up stories, really simple emotional conflicts, and a repetitive, almost hypnotic soundtrack. You know, this doesn't feel like random chaos anymore. It feels like a recipe. But a recipe for what exactly? Let's just look at the evidence. The stories are simple enough for a kid to follow. The morals are basic things like be on time. The sounds are repetitive and hypnotic. You've got these random things thrown in to keep your attention. And there are even these weirdly specific mentions of money, like just $3. These aren't just quirks. These are all characteristics of a very specific kind of online video. When you see all of these elements together in one place, it becomes pretty clear that this isn't just a quirky, homemade video. This is a piece of content that feels like it's been engineered, maybe carefully, maybe even automatically, to get the most engagement possible.
Which brings us to our final and most important question.
So why does any of this matter? Because the kind of thing we've just picked apart is becoming one of the most common forms of media online. The simple stories and bright sounds seem like they're designed for kids. But the weird structure, the endless repetition, the simple keywords, that all feels like it's designed to be perfectly understood and promoted by a computer algorithm. So who's the real audience? And what does it mean when the content we watch is no longer being made just for human minds?